A lot of people got upset when Facebook changed its format to the timeline, but our internet expert says you should take advantage of it to advance your career. Dave Hatter of Libertas Technologies is here to show us how. Good morning, Dave.
Hi, Sheila. How are you?
So how is timeline better for your career advancement?
Well, it makes it easier for someone to go in and sort of see a holistic picture of your entire life on Facebook, because depending on how much information you put in, and you can go back and retroactively add stuff even before you were a Facebook user, you literally can create a fairly compelling dynamic picture of your entire career.
So we took a look at your Facebook page and your timeline. What kinds of things do you have in there that, you know, an employer would look at right away?
Well, for me personally, I've got all my background and jobs and so forth, education in there, because as a small business owner, if people find me on Facebook, I want them to realize that I might be someone they want to do business with. It also, though, and this is where the downside of timeline comes in, also shows all of your posts and activity on Facebook pretty much from day one. So if you
need to manage that, right?
Right, because with the old wall method, okay, it would only show so many posts at a time, and while someone could go back and dig historically into everything you've ever done on Facebook,
it wouldn't.
Very cumbersome to do. It might take hours to go through it all. With this now, it's broken down by year, so someone can go click on 2007, for example. And if you have
that was Dave's drinking year.
If you have, right. If you have activity in there from 2007, they can easily get to it, as opposed to the old way, which would be very difficult to do. So if you are looking for a job, especially, or thinking about looking for a job anytime in the near future, it would be a good idea to understand what timeline does. You can go to timeline, and there's a gear button, and you can click it, and you can say view as, and it will let you see how other people would see it. Okay?
Okay.
So it's a great way for you to see what other people can see, and then you can go in and try to clean up those entries. You can delete posts, you can hide posts from the timeline. You just need to understand what the impact on this of you could be, because if you got some old college photos doing a cake stand or something, it might not be good for your job search. Right.
Now, another thing that's related to this is how to measure your social influence, which could be something that would be attractive to an employer or a client in your case. How do you measure your social influence?
Well, this idea of social influence is, okay, just because you're using these social media tools, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc., and even if you have a large network on any or all of them, how much influence do you have over people? And as a small business owner, what I see the real value in this is, over time you build relationships with people, you create trust, which obviously leads to influence. Tools like Clout, which is on the screen there, which is a fairly new idea, there's also Peer Index, attempt to measure your influence. So basically, you create an account at Clout or Peer Index, you plug it into Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, any of these tools you use, and then it looks at how big is your network, but also how often do people that you're connected to share things that you share, how influential are they, how many people share their stuff, and attempts to give you a score. What's interesting about it is, you'll find if you dig into this a little bit, there's a lot of discussion about this, particularly like in the ad agency space, and there are some agencies now who won't hire you unless you have a high Clout score.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Is it 1 to 100?
It's 1 to 100.
Okay.
So basically 100 is like you're incredibly famous and influential, probably like a Justin Bieber, as scary as that might be.
He would he would get 100.
And you know, if you don't do anything on there, you might have a 0 or a 1.
Which would be my grandma, I think, is what the article I read about that said. That would be my grandma.
So, you know, people, if you're thinking about a job in advertising, marketing, and in many fields, there are, in one of the links I sent you, a story about how someone was contacted because they had a high Clout score and they wanted to send them a free notebook to test it out. So, because, you know, you might go on and talk about it. So, it's a very interesting concept. I encourage people to check it out because, again, it could have an impact on your career.
All right. Well, even though we're out of time, there are lots of ways you can learn more about this. Dave teaches classes at Cincinnati State in social media, and the next one is on February 10th. They're Fridays at 8:30 in the morning. Only $69 a class. Fox19.com. We have a link to that. And then we have another link on Fox19.com where we put all of these different links that Dave found for us together, so you can learn more about how to increase your social media imprint and make your timeline look a little bit better too. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, Sheila.